Hello, fellow fantasy sports fans, and welcome to MFSN's The Hub. I'm your host, Joe Boozrum, and I'm here with Vlad to the Bone, and as always, Ross the Boss.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ross the Boss, and I want to talk sports with you, Cowboy. We have an unbelievable show today. We have James Jones on the show today, Super Bowl winner. He's also on the NFL Network as a correspondent. He has some great insight he's going to talk about today, about everything that's going on in the NFL. And let's do it. First and 10. Take it away.
Okay, this time on First and 10, we're going to do something a bit different. I'm going to assign you both a role in a debate argument. You have no choice in what your opinion is. You just have to make the best argument with the opinion I give you. So, James Robinson is here to stay. Ross, your argument is that he's a fake. Kasey, yours is that he's the real deal. Go.
Okay, I'll start. That's fine. He is absolutely a real deal. I mean, he's had 3 great weeks in a row. An undrafted running back is not an unknown in the NFL. You look at people like Priest Holmes or Arian Foster, who were dominant for years as undrafted running backs. Running backs are notoriously unpredictable. Some first-round picks don't do well. Later-round picks, the Terrell Davises of the world, can end up in the Hall of Fame. So James Robinson is a volume running back in Jacksonville. He's got no competition. They're committed to using him, and he's putting up the numbers. How can you say anything other than he's the real deal?
That was very believable. All right, Ross, you.
James Robinson is a fake, a fraud, and a phony. This guy is getting big numbers right now. He's not going to continue it. There's no way he's going to do this through the whole season. He'll be second string by week 8. Dump him now or trade him now. He's not going to keep this pace up. There's no way he can do it. He's not that good. Get rid of him now. You heard it from Ross the Boss.
All right. We're going to move on to the next argument, but first I have to ask you, Ross, did you actually think that?
No, not at all.
I would keep James Robinson. Totally won that one.
I mean, he's a.
Well, you got the easy assignment.
I mean, he's not an RB1.
I got a softball.
He's not an RB1, but he's definitely an RB2 right now.
He's got a good quarterback. He's got good wide receivers, so it's not like the focus can be all on him. It's pretty easy for him to be real.
Here's the next one. Aaron Rodgers is going to keep this up. Ross, you say yes, and this is partly for James Jones. We have to have an Aaron Rodgers discussion with James Jones on. Ross, you say yes, he will keep it up. And Kasey, you're going to have to argue no. And Ross, you get to go first.
Aaron Rodgers is on a mission this year. He's mad at the organization for not drafting a first or second round wide receiver. They have Devontae Adams. He was even playing on Sunday, and he still threw up unbelievable, like 300 and something yards, 4 touchdowns, like 37 points. He's having an unbelievable year. He is going to be just not the best quarterback in the NFC. He might even win the Super Bowl this year. He's that good. I love Aaron Rodgers this year. It's a revenge year for him, and I see him taking his team all the way to the NFC Championship, and hopefully he'll be in the Super Bowl. I'm Ross the Boss, and I hope you like my opinion.
Aaron Rodgers is awesome. I'm not going to question that. But the numbers he's putting up now are incredible. And whether or not they're sustainable as the weather gets cold, he already has 1 hurt wide receiver in Devontae Adams. If anything happens to Valdez-Scantling or to Lazard, you're going to lose another weapon there. When the weather gets cold, they didn't have a preseason. It's going to get tougher as the season goes on. I don't think he's going to go in the tank or anything, but I certainly am going to argue that the pace he's on right now is unsustainable.
All right, now listen, Ross, I got to say this. So far, Kasey is wiping the floor with you, and here's why. Because, I mean, did you hear that argument? It was brilliant. He came in, he said, look, Aaron Rodgers is great. I'm not going to argue against that. He used his material as best he could. Oh, and now I hear a doorbell. I think it's Lauren Auerbach. She has arrived. She's back to D.C. Where you were away. Where'd you go?
I was away. I was in Colonial Beach for a little vacay time.
All right, nice. Okay, so listen, I wanted to get in on the action, so I'm gonna have you introduce the next, and we're gonna let Ross choose his role. Go ahead, tell us what our argument is.
So we've got fake or not fake, guys. So next up, how about Justin Jefferson? Has he arrived as a wide receiver 1? Ross, what do you think?
Okay, Justin Jefferson, the rookie from LSU University, he had one big game, and all of a sudden people are jumping on the bandwagon. They think Kirk Cousins had an unbelievable game. Yes, he did, but he's not going to do it all season. He's a flash in the pan. They have other receivers on the team, and I believe that you won't see these stats at all during the year. This is the 1 week he'll be like an all-star. I think he led the receivers in receiving this week. There's no way he's going to do it again. Just if you want to pick him up, pick him up. You're not going to start him again. Let's be honest. He's a flash. Next, who else? Who else? It'd be somebody else.
I think you actually believe that because you chose this, but you are wrong about this. He is here to stay as a wide receiver 1 and 2, and if you've got keeper and dynasty leagues especially, but even in a redraft league, I'm going to tell you why he is here to stay. First of all, I want to say, Ross, I didn't hear anything in your argument about why he's not going. You're just predicting that he's just not going to do it. I want to hear more from you about that, but I'm going to tell you, you told me that he's just not going to do it. I'm going to tell you why he is, and it's because this is what we've seen in fantasy sports over and over and over. The rookie wide receivers are no good for the first couple of weeks. They're getting their feet wet, but this guy is a special player. He's playing with an experienced quarterback, and this is the time of year when these guys start to emerge. He's going to have some bad weeks. There's no question. But it's going to be a little up and down. But towards the end of the year, he's going to start exploding over and over and over. This happened with Mike Evans when he came in the league. It happens with a lot of the top talent. You're going down in this one. And we'll revisit this to see. Now we're going to move on.
I'll tell you something. You have Jefferson on your team. Let's say you get him on waiver wire. Trade him immediately. Right now, he's at his peak. By December, late November, he'll be down here and he'll be saying, why didn't I listen to Ross the Boss? He knew this kid was a bust. Why did I listen to Dan? He knows nothing about football.
Okay, this is the key moment because it really is true. It's either going to go Ross's way or it's going to go mine, and it's going to be explosive in either direction. He is a boomer bust player, but I think he's a guy who can make a difference. Just be patient with him. Lauren, you did a great job as a moderator. I don't know why you left so soon. You just got back from vacation. All right, Kasey, we're moving on. What do you have in store for us?
Well, I have a question for everybody. In the last episode, Andrew talked a lot about how you value roster spots in the first half of the season versus the second half of the season. I think he said you try to do as much as you can to incrementally build up the value of the back end of your roster. So when you're looking at this point, we're a quarter of the way through the season and we're talking about when to cut bait. How do you value the roster spots differently when you're talking about doing that or getting rid of dead weight on your roster who may have been a performer in previous years, but suddenly they're not performing anymore?
That's a great question. Ross, I wonder because I sometimes keep players too long. I sometimes cut them too early. I'm one who tends to cut them too early if I make that mistake.
Well, this is a point where you got to listen to the coach, see what's the player saying. I'll give a prime example. It's Gronkowski of Tampa Bay. You could tell that he's playing to the media like, I guess they just brought me here to block. And he said that actually after the game on Sunday because he wasn't getting the ball. He had 40-something yards, I believe. He's getting more looks. He's getting more targets. I believe he's somebody, like the prime example, that I think he's going to be involved in the offense starting probably in 2 or 3 weeks. Give him a couple more weeks. It's player by player. You can look at the stats right now. But some of these guys performed over the years, and maybe they have it's a slow start. It's a slow start.
But how do you tell? I mean, we want to talk strategy. How do you tell?
It's really hard to. There's nothing you can. There's no tell. It's not like playing poker and looking at somebody. It's not because
I don't know about that.
I don't know either. I think one of the things that's important to look at by four weeks into the season, which is where we are right now, you kind of know what the different offensive strategies of the different teams are, and you can incorporate that as well. So say, for example, Sonny Michel from New England, who just had 117 yards, I believe, last week. So he's proven he still has stuff in the tank, and so his value might be high. But if you've been paying attention, you also know Cam Newton takes every carry inside of the 3. So while he might be a volume back between the 20s, in the red zone, he's not going to get very many rushing touchdowns.
But he's not a number one running back. I mean, there's a guy.
It doesn't matter if he's a number one running back. We're talking about whether or not we cut bait. And
my
so
offense
if he's
is
a
not
running back
too,
too,
on Sonny Michel. He's somebody that's going to be my bench, and if I feel like it, I might start him. He's not going to start every week. A guy like David Johnson for Houston.
Yeah, but if you're maximizing your roster spots, then you're talking about guys like Sonny Michel. You're not talking about your number one running back.
And you're trying to, and this is where
you're
Ross, you
keeping
talked
Sonny
last
Michel
week
on
about trades.
You're keeping him.
No, you're not. Not if you're not using your strategy of where you're talking about trades. If you have somebody who has maybe fake value because they just had a really good week, and
Justin
they're
Jefferson.
never going to be a touchdown, then you try to flip him for somebody who might get goal line carries, who might get touchdowns. or somebody who might be underperforming.
So are you telling me if I
is going to be
if
bad.
if I tried to sell you Sony Michel for Justin Jefferson, you'd give it to me?
You're talking to me?
It depends what
No,
my
to
wide
Ross.
receivers.
No, it depends. It depends what my roster is. If I'm heavy on running back, and say Michelle's not going to start for me, let's say.
Let's say it works for your roster. I'm talking about like which one has more value.
It just depends who's on my roster. If some leagues I'm running back heavy, some leagues I just barely get through with the running back. It just depends because the draft, I always pick best player available. That's my strategy, and I win a lot.
I think Justin Jefferson's a legit wide receiver too in that Minnesota offense. They have a lot of weapons and they have a decent quarterback who likes to air the ball out. And if it's a PPR league, I think he has as much value as Sonny Michel. And so I don't think it's a bad trade idea, even though we know that running backs tend to run a premium in a lot of leagues.
I also think, Ross, you made this point. We're a quarter through the season now. You actually have a beat on some things. Like the Buffalo offense is going bananas, and we didn't necessarily expect that. So you have
But
an
Devin
idea.
Montgomery's not getting a lot of touchdowns.
And there's Melvin Gordon in Denver.
Devin Singletary.
Singletary.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon so far is a huge bust. I mean, I had him like number 12 or 13 running
What did you say about a huge bust? This is a
huge
family
bust.
show, Ross.
A huge bust. Another bust, I think, is David Johnson. He's like barely getting any yards. He had a touchdown.
David Johnson since 2015 has been overrated.
He's healthy
I
this
believe.
year, and he actually had a great game. His first game of the year, he
Yeah.
had 70 yards, and I think he had like 30 or 40 yards receiving. But that all being said, I don't know if he's going to be a bust, or I don't know if he's just starting out slow. We'll see. But Melvin Gordon and David Johnson are two good examples of like, do I keep them or do I get rid of them?
Or AJ Green. I know last week Andrew picked him as his kind of sleep.
I don't think he's going to emerge.
Player. But
I watched that
again,
Bengal
he hasn't
game, and
emerged.
Burrows barely threw to him. If he threw to him, it was a really hard catch to do. He was throwing
He's
to
like, I'm not
Boyd.
throwing to you, Gramps.
He was throwing to Boyd and somebody else. But basically, AJ Green's another example. I'm holding on to him. I think he'll peak later in the season. But again, there's no like.
Interesting.
I don't
Ready to
I don't
move
know.
on from
I
AJ
think
Green.
when you're talking
I really
about
don't have a computer printout of like telling you like when to drop these players.
Yeah, and I think the ones we talk about dropping are those aged veterans who for years were perennial Pro Bowlers who
Right. Have
may
they gone off
lost
the
a
cliff?
step.
It
How do you
happens.
decide when it's time to let them go as
Okay.
over the hill versus still have one
But
game left in the tank?
how I think is this. I think like, okay, Marvin Gordon's going for 1,000 yards this year. Right now, he has 100.
Marvin Gordon is not getting 1,000 because
Well, I'm
he's
just saying,
Melvin
in my
Gordon.
mind,
Go ahead.
in my mind, I might go like Marvin Gordon, David Jones, or any of these guys, David Johnson, excuse me, any of these people I'm mentioning. I still think they'll have 1,000-yard seasons.
I don't think.
I
David
think they're going to
Jones
do it in
does.
November, December, when it gets colder. People
This
like
is
to run the
great.
ball more. You're going to see that. So don't drop these number one running backs so quick. Hold on to them.
Okay,
Don't-
we're going to talk more about this. You guys have started to talk about very specific players, and that is the perfect lead-in to our next segment. It is take your pick, and we're going to show how we did last week and how we're going to do this week because we're going to make our picks again, and then we'll go through the games, and we can talk about all these players, who to cut and who not to. Up next. Now it's time for Take Your Pick, where we look at our picks from last week, make our picks for difference makers in this week, and we go through the games to see who are going to be the big players in each game. Guys, who did the best in last week? Do we even remember? I picked Jerick McKinnon. That's all I remember. I know there was talk about Allen Robinson, the second, third, fourth. I don't remember which
the
one, but
second.
I don't even think he was the main pick. Ross, who did you have?
I had Patrick Mahomes. I had 400 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Joshua
He was
Kelly.
Nice
unbelievable.
pick.
No,
Well
I
done.
actually
Nobody
picked,
predicted
I had
that.
2. I know you guys don't agree, but you can watch the tape. I said if you have Allen Robinson the third, start him this week. People don't usually start him. I said start him, but I did take Joshua Kelly. He didn't do that great. I'll take that loss, but I still
People
mentioned
usually start him. I mean,
they don't
you
start
did
him.
make a great
Always.
pick.
Oh man.
Always.
Allen
And also, by the
Robinson.
way, Allen Robinson III is not yet born, I don't think.
Oh,
But
he's the second.
He is actually the second, yeah. So your pick was non-existent.
You picked a baby.
Maybe I don't know if he has a child.
So,
named
yeah, but
All right, now-
somebody picked
That's
something
no-
with 1 yard receiving.
That
right?
was me. I tried to take a reach. I tried to go a little deep, and I picked Drew Sample with the Cincinnati
comparing
Bengals. He
apples
had
and
one
oranges
you
here,
catch.
had
though,
your
guys.
level of difficulty was the highest of anyone.
Allen Robinson was like a 3rd round pick. Drew Sample was like not even a high waiver claim.
Yeah, but he
last
had
week, so-
36 inches though, which is pretty good. That's not bad.
Hey, it was a
Listen,
hard fought.
he beat Larry Fitzgerald, who I started in a deeper league, and he got 1 tackle. He got a tackle. He didn't even catch a
No
pass.
points for that, I guess.
No,
Yeah,
he got
I-
a half point for a tackle.
Well,
Okay,
I didn't
keep
have
going.
a great week either. I went with AJ Green, and he only got like 36 yards. The good news is he did catch 5 passes. I still think AJ Green. I heard you guys talking a little bit on the last segment about maybe dropping AJ Green. Do not do that. The usage is still there. The talent is still there. Joe Burrow is just going to get better as the season
He's
goes
right.
along. So don't
Wait
give up
2
on AJ
weeks
Green.
and then drop.
Then drop it.
Okay. So I think I actually won last week with Jarek McKinnon, unless we count Allen Robinson. We'll let the viewers decide. Now we're up for our picks this week. Andrew, I have decided to start with you. Are you ready?
Well, I'm just gonna use my column that for Fantasy Pros as a basis for this, and these are deeper picks, which I think we should do because let's be honest, with everything that's going on right now in the NFL, with the Titans Steelers game getting postponed and all the injuries going on, people are scrambling with their lineups. So I'm really in favor of trying to.
You're going with
help
James
people
Conner.
with some flex spots. So here's what I'm thinking. Zach Moss, the rookie with Buffalo. We got to check the injury report because he missed last week with a toe injury, but he should be back this week. He practiced this week. They go up against the Raiders, who have an atrociously bad run defense. They've given up the most fantasy points in the league to running back so far. Now, granted, they faced Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara, but they also faced the Patriots last week and let Sony Michel run for over 100 yards, let Rex Burkhead score 2 TDs. So that run defense is a sieve. And, I think that Buffalo running situation is really split pretty evenly between Singletary and Moss. So Moss is kind of way off the radar in people's minds right now. But if he plays, he's a really interesting flex option, I think, given that matchup and his ability to – he has more goal line work so far this season than Singletary, even though he missed a game. So he's got the chance for the TD. He can catch passes. I think he's got a lot of upside, and he's a guy that might even be on the waiver wire. He's on the waiver wire in, I think, like 30% of leagues.
Nice pick. All right. Case, who you got?
Well, I wasn't
Pick a tight
preparing.
end that's going to get more than 1
It
yard.
was a tight end, but it was a higher rated one. I wasn't prepared for Andrew to throw the gauntlet down and say we have to pick kind of deep
Shouldn't have let me
sleepers.
go
I tried
first,
that
sorry.
last week, so I was
You
going to
went
go
really deep last week.
My pick was somebody who's been underperforming, but I think who's about to turn it around, which was Mark Edwards from Baltimore. I know he's been struggling, but he's going up against Mark Andrews. I apologize. He's going up against the Washington football team, formerly known as, like the symbol of Prince. And I just think he can torch them. I just think it's a good week for him to play. The other one I was thinking, although he had a good week last week, so I don't know if I can call him a breakout, was Hunter Renfrow, not the baseball player, the slot receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, because Buffalo is not well versed in covering the slot, and he's been playing really well.
All right, I'm gonna make a high end pick and a deeper cut. So Amari Cooper is obviously something. He is more than a thing. Let's not objectify Amari Cooper. He's somebody everybody is starting, but he's playing against the Browns. I just feel like he's gonna have one of his huge games. Now I own him in a league, so this is probably not gonna happen. I always put that out there, but he's my high end guy. The guy that is. A guy that a lot of people are starting, but I think Mark Ingram is going to have a huge game. I just feel like game flow is going to go in the direction of Mark Ingram against the Washington football team. I think he gets 2 touchdowns in that game.
God, I hope you're right about that one. 'Cause, I was pretty high on Ingram going into the season, and I've been very disappointed with how they've used him. They're just, Dobbins actually played more snaps than him last week, so they're kind of splitting it equally. But
I have Dobbins in a keeper league, so I know Ingram is going to do well.
Yeah, but hold on.
I hope you're
Isn't Ingram over 50%? I have that.
This isn't. Yeah.
This isn't 50%. This isn't the waiver wire show. You can pick anybody you want. Amari Cooper's way over 50%.
Yeah, he's at the top, a fourth.
Pick anybody you want.
3rd round pick.
Oh,
But hurry up.
okay.
But
so
if you got a deep one, go for it, man.
I'll do a deep one. It's boring to pick somebody like Mark Ingram. I mean, he's a starter. I mean, you're going to start him anyway.
I'm not just picking him. I'm picking him to get
Okay,
over 80
I'm
yards
taking
and 2 touchdowns.
I'm taking a deep pick. If you need a receiver this week and you're in trouble, start Randall Cobb. He's available in a bunch of leagues. I feel he's going to have a huge game with Houston. He is an oldie but a goodie. He had a great game last week, and I feel this week he's going to do 100 yards and a touchdown. You heard it from me first, Ross the boss. Do it. Plan on it. Finished.
All right, that is a deeper pick than me, admittedly, but I'm calling Ingram to get 2 touchdowns and over 80 yards.
You're talking about a
I'm
guy
calling
that's
him to do
yeah,
really
but I
well.
mean that's not. I mean, I could say Pat Mahomes every time. I mean, you
I wish
guys.
No,
Mark
even
Ingram
if you
was
say
playing
Pat
like
Mahomes
Mahomes.
has 6 touchdowns, maybe.
You gotta say Patrick
All right, listen.
Mahomes.
Patrick, I forgot his
mom
mom texted me.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah,
Um,
Patty Mahomes. Okay,
But Randall Cobb,
we're going
great.
to talk about the games now. Let's talk about
Great.
Cleveland at Dallas. I already went on record saying Amari Cooper is going to go.
Okay,
go
so
crazy.
I'll
I
go
think
first on this one. Dallas has the worst defense in the NFL. I think they're like 30th almost in every category. They're horrible. I mean, it's them or the Jets with defense. The Cowboys and Atlanta, they're all horrible in defense. The Cowboys haven't been embarrassing. They can't stop anything. That's why Dak Prescott has like almost 500 yards every game. But in that game, you should start everybody you have in offense. Start everybody. If you have Hunt, if you have
Dontre Hilliard,
if you have Odell Beckham, you start him. If you have anybody on Dallas, you start him. You know, if you have anybody, start it. I feel it's going to be a shootout, and I feel Baker Mayfield's going to win that game. Don't ask me why. I like Cleveland.
Ooh, similar to his
Nice.
Baltimore pick.
last time he picked the Browns,
week
we
one.
lost, unfortunately. But
By
all
a
right,
lot.
how about New England? New England and Kansas City. You know, everybody thought Baltimore against Kansas City is the preview of the AFC Championship. Now people are starting to recognize Bill Belichick just never goes away. So he's like Freddy Krueger, or more like Jason, actually. New England at Kansas City. Who are the big players in this game? I mean, we know the big ones, but who do you think is really going to perform in this? Is it going to be a passing game or a running game?
I mean, I think that the Chiefs are, you just obviously are starting all of them all the time. I mean, they're going to put up tons of points. The Patriots defense is not the same as it was last year. They're not terrible, but they're not a void defense, and you wouldn't worry about that anyway with Kansas City. I mean, Mahomes is going to have his way. Tyreek Hill will be fine. I don't think he's going to get shouted. I mean, he might get shouted by Gilmore, but even if he does, he can put up his points. And I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire you're always going with, Travis Kelce you're always going with. I'm interested to see McCole Hardman if they work him in a little more. I think Watkins is still ahead of him on the depth chart, but I think he's passing Demarcus Robinson, so that's some progress. And then on the Patriots side, I think they're going to be a little disappointing this week. Everyone tends to think that when you play Kansas City, you get into these wild shootouts, but the numbers don't actually bear that out. Quarterbacks don't tend to do that great against that Chiefs defense. They're actually a pretty solid unit against the pass. So I've been on record on this show saying I think Cam Newton's a QB1 this season going forward, but I do not think this is going to be one of his better weeks.
Coming off a huge game against Baltimore on Monday Night Football, that was an epic game. Belichick has a few more days to prepare compared to the coach for Kansas City. I feel that it's a trap game. I like New England in this game. It's a trap. I don't know why. I just feel now in the AFC, the only team now that can probably beat Kansas City is New England because of the Belichick factor. I'm taking Belichick.
I think Buffalo would argue you.
I'm taking Belichick. It's a long season. I'm taking Belichick over the Kansas City Chiefs, not because I don't love Andy Reid, just because I feel that they had a really, really a horrible matchup against Baltimore. They won, but it took everything out of them. And I feel that I don't know if they're going to bounce back so quick. I know they won. It's going to take them a while to get in the groove against New England. We'll see what happens.
All right. How about Atlanta at Green Bay? We've got 2 offenses and 1 defense because Atlanta's defense.
I don't know if we have any defense in that
game.
There's going to be so
maybe
many
not.
points.
I don't know.
What do you think,
I'm
Casey?
so mad that Lazard went down. What on earth happened?
He's questionable.
No, he's done.
No, he's out.
He's out.
He's out officially.
Surgery.
So that game, the Green Bay has been averaging over 38, 39 points a game. They've been unbelievable this year.
They're going to score 85.
I mean, It's going to be a lot of points. Green Bay's defense isn't that great either. Let's not pretend.
No, they're not.
Let's not pretend. It's going to be a high-scoring game. There's no snow. They're playing the games in Green Bay, right? Anybody
It is
know?
in Green Bay. Yep.
Yeah. So
Green
there's
Bay.
no snow. It's not the frozen tundra of Green Bay. It's going to be a high-scoring game, and don't take any of the defenses in that game and start everybody you can.
Yeah, I think you start everybody. I think Jones is going to have a huge game as the running back for Green Bay. I think they're going to deploy him in kind of an Alvin Kamara type of role where he's catching balls out of the backfield and running a lot with Devontae Adams is back, I believe, but who knows if he's 100%.
Determined for sure yet.
Yeah,
if
Lazard is out, so the wide receivers are going to be thin at best, and so I think Jones is going to be a workhorse and he could put up tremendous
MVS
numbers.
is back, baby.
Yeah, just when
By
I made
default.
that argument.
Is
Listen,
Julio
okay,
Jones back? Is Julio Jones back with Atlanta? Is that
Also
official?
not determined yet. He's
Not
trending in the right
determined yet.
direction, though. Yeah.
I wanna talk about all
Gage
these games,
could be
but
big.
we can't because it is time for Ross's rant. Okay, here we go. It's Ross's rant. Ross, today you have 44 seconds and you've drunk a lot of imaginary Mountain Dew. Go.
Hi, I'm Ross the Boss, and I want to talk about quarterbacks. What quarterback should you drop? What quarterback should not be starting anymore? Let's start with Mitch Trubisky. He's already gone. Nick Foles is the quarterback. He's actually somebody I would pick up and start maybe in a few games. So Nick Foles, congratulations, you're the quarterback. Sam Darnold of the Jets, he should not have a job anymore. Their backup is Flacco, who I love. Let's start him. Why not? Sam Darnold's been an embarrassment for the Jets. Their offense has not done anything the whole year. Frank Gore's their running back. They need some life in that offense. So let's do that. The other one is Daniel Jones. I would drop him. He's playing horrible. I know he had a great year last year. You got to get rid of him now. I don't even know who the Giants backup is, but just start him anyway. I'm Ross the Boss.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for Monster Madness. Okay, guys, 8 more heroes and villains are on the chopping block. Today, we talk about the 3 versus 14 matchups and the 6-11 matchups. The first matchup is the 3-14 out of the West bracket. It's Voldemort against Morpheus. Dan, who do you got?
I think that Morpheus is in deep trouble here. I love Morpheus, but Voldemort was very hard to bring down. He's made lots of Horcruxes, and he's hidden some of them outside of the Matrix. Morpheus is in big trouble, especially because he can only fight in the Matrix. That's the problem. For me, it's Voldemort all the way. I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore. See? I'm not saying anything.
Andrew,
is anybody going to say? Okay, I
come
guess I
on.
won.
No, you're totally off base. You're taking somebody from Harry Potter over the Matrix.
I was going to say, I forgot. I couldn't even remember what Voldemort was from. I'm not a Harry Potter guy.
I mean, are you crazy? I mean, seriously, Harry Potter was like a children's book against the Matrix.
Did you read Harry Potter? I mean, Voldemort killed people.
No, I mean,
how many people did Morpheus kill?
Kill people, but it was like little kids. I mean, it's embarrassing.
He kills children.
I don't agree.
I almost went into a Bill Cosby voice there.
I'll take the Matrix any day over Harry Potter. Matrix is my pick.
That's fine. I'm going to beat you in that. I'll convince them about
No
Voldemort.
way.
Even though
Casey's taking Casey and
All right,
Andrew
Casey,
will
who
take
you
my
got?
side.
Oh, me.
Casey,
I apologize, boss, but I got Voldemort in this one. I think
idiot.
magic trumps.
All right, we're going tiebreaker then.
Tiebreaker.
Lauren's pick was definitely.
Well, you just said you're going tiebreaker.
You just said
I
move
think
on.
you told us what your pick was.
Yeah, I want to hear
Wow.
your explanation.
It's not going to.
All right,
I
make
have a
it
good
quick.
reason.
Make
All right,
it
my only
quick.
associations with well, I have no associations with Voldemort. With Morpheus, I mean, I haven't seen the movie in a while, but it was a great movie. But I just think of morphine and I think of Orpheus Roy, which are both pretty badass. So
Yeah,
Morpheus
I thought of
wins.
Morpheus Roy. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly, right? Who could stop Morpheus Roy?
Exactly. Who can stop him?
A lot of offensive linemen could. You think?
All right, guys.
No,
What's the
this guy-
tiebreaker?
this guy-
We got to
this
move
guy's
on.
unbelievable.
Listen, the tiebreaker anyway is Lauren goes with Voldemort. Have you not seen Lauren's pretty? She was really into Dumbledore, let alone.
And remember,
Voldemort.
she's
So
the one who said
that's
magic
over.
trumps
Wasn't he
strength.
from Winnie the Pooh?
It's true. She's all about magic. All right, Case.
All right,
You're
moving on to
or
the
am I?
Midwest. The Midwest. We got the number
Midwest.
3 seed Neptune against who I think is underrated, the 14 seed Wonder Woman. Go ahead,
I
Ross.
agree. Very underrated. I don't know who made this list.
I'm taking, you know what? She has an invisible plane. She has the rope that people have to tell the truth. She has those little things on her wrists. See Ross the boss. But she has little things on her wrist where she can block stuff. I'm taking Wonder Woman. That movie's coming out, I think, next month too, which I'm excited about. So Wonder Woman's my pick, hands down. Neptune, you're going down.
So is Neptune? Remind me about Neptune. Neptune is
It's a planet.
The planet?
No, not the
God,
planet.
right. Oh, Neptune's
It's a planet against Wonder Woman.
Neptune's like the bottom of the sea.
He is the
dude,
god
right?
of the sea.
Yeah,
God of
come
the
on.
sea.
Aquaman.
I mean, he's way underwater, man. He's way
Aquaman
underwater.
could beat Neptune.
Also, like, if you do want to talk about the planet, I mean, what a contrast there. You've got Wonder Woman's from like Amazonia, right? That's like everything grows in Amazonia. That's such a lively place. Neptune's this big blue gassy place. It probably
Gas
smells
giant.
like
It's a gas
it's
giant.
called.
you
A
know?
gas giant.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, nobody wants the gas giant. I mean, get out of here, man.
And
Wonder
I think
Woman
one
in a
thing that's
landslide.
forgotten isn't Wonder Woman the daughter of Zeus?
Is that right?
I believe she
I mean,
is.
Zeus
You
was
say
like,
so.
I mean, forgive me for saying this, but Zeus was like Gary Payton. He had a lot of children.
Yes.
I'm putting it out there.
But he was never called the glove. So
No, Zeus was never called the glove.
I
They never got around to that in the Roman myths.
Not
He
yet.
wrote some really good books though. After he got his MD though, Dr. Zeus.
Dr. Zeus.
So does anybody pick Neptune here? Daniel, who are you taking?
Listen, I was actually going to go with Wonder Woman, but I feel like Zeus is not Zeus. I feel like Neptune's not getting the love that he deserves. However, I've read a children's book called Emily Winsnap where Emily Winsnap, a mermaid, beats Neptune. I'm pretty sure that Wonder Woman can do it. Let's move on. It's
So
over.
Wonder Woman's moving on. All right, let's move to the East bracket. This is an interesting one because it might be a little bit obscure for many of the viewers, but the 314 is The Nothing against The Mind Flayer. Dan,
which
I'll
one
let
was
you go
you were
first
saying
on
was
this one.
obscure? Oh, The Nothing is obscure.
The Nothing
that
is
right?
from The Never-Ending Story, I believe, and I don't know if a lot of people
That's right.
I mean,
may
it
know
was
that.
it was as well known at that time as the Mind Flayer was like 5 years.
Right,
ago.
and that's the
I'd
thing
say it's
about this
the same.
bracket. Time does not exist in this bracket. I mean, that's why
It's
you
everybody
can get
in their
Neptune.
prime.
I mean, Neptune retired as the sea god in, I think it was like 35 AD. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. But there's no time in this
I'm
bracket.
trying
so,
to picture the Nothing in its prime. That's just blowing my mind. Flair.
Yeah. Well, it's blowing your mind, Flair. Okay, so The Nothing, for people who don't know, I mean, Ross, you remember The Nothing from the Never-Ending Story?
No, I know it. I haven't read it in years. I mean, remind me about the Nothing superpowers, or what can the Nothing
I
do?
wish we
the
could
great-
show a
the
clip. I
Nothing
wish we
just-
could show a clip of those rock people, because those rock people in the Never-Ending Story talking about the Nothing. The guy is so sad. He's so broken because of.
I mean, the
Nothing
thing is,
do?
The Nothing makes things. It makes things not exist. It's like anti-universe. It just chews up everything.
And it's horrifying because it slowly covers the whole.
I'm going with
world,
The Nothing.
You know? It's
I'm going
sort
with
of
The Nothing.
similar
It's
to-
this all
and
consuming.
who's the Nothing? Who's the Nothing going against?
Mind
You know
Flayer
the Mind
from
Flayer
Stranger
Mind
from
Things.
Flayer, yeah, of
Stranger
course.
Things?
Yeah, I'm taking Mind
know-
Slayer. The Nothing to me, I think there's a way to defeat Nothing. I don't think it's like one of these creatures.
Maybe it's like a vacuum
Well,
cleaner.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
if
there has
you
to be a
bring
way
the
to
Nothing if you bring the Nothing into the Upside Down, maybe. Is that
there's
what
a
you're
way
saying
to
is going to
beat the
happen?
Nothing. There's a way to
I
beat
don't
it,
think so.
and I think Mind Slayer can do it. I believe
He's not even
smart.
giving a reason.
He's smart. He has tactical ways to beat the Nothing. I just don't feel that Nothing has nothing in his brain. I don't.
He
think
doesn't need it. He just consumes everything.
that's the thing.
I love that. That's Ross's argument.
He's
It's
just an
the
empty
Frankenstein's
trash
monster
can
argument.
that
It doesn't have a
can't
brain.
There's no
Doesn't
way
have
to
a
beat the
brain.
Nothing.
Okay, it sounds like the Nothing is moving on. We have to get going. We're running out of time. So I'm announcing the final 314, which is Luke Skywalker against Megatron in
Okay,
the
let me start
South
this one.
bracket.
Let
Finally
me
a
start
good
this
one here.
because, yeah, Luke, you could say this is a good one, but I refuse. I will fight you guys tooth and nail about Luke Skywalker going out in round one. No, it's not going to happen. Not even if he was facing He-Man, which was a ridiculous argument in the first place. But Luke is going to take out Megatron very easily. Megatron's going to do his and Luke will just be like, didn't you see him against the biker scouts? He just chops machines apart. There's not a chance. I mean, what's Megatron going to do against Luke?
I think Luke is the best in this matchup. Although, if you get the bad Luke who couldn't even lift the X-Wing out of the water, he might have a difficult time with Megatron. But if we're talking about Luke in his prime, it's not much of a matchup.
Depressed Luke.
Well, that's what we got.
That's true.
That's what we got in The Last Jedi, right? Was depressed Luke. If you
Depressed-
get
The
depressed
Last
Luke
Jedi
shows
was
up,
horrible.
well,
I hated The Last Jedi.
But if depressed Luke shows up, I mean, Megatron is just going to blow him away, man. He's actually
this is not
even in the
depressed
last
Luke.
movie he let himself go. I mean, the problem.
I
is
made
Luke
these
might be
brackets.
willing
This
to
is not
sacrifice
depressed
himself.
Luke. This is not depressed
That's fine,
Luke.
but
This
I'm
is
telling-
Return of the
I
Jedi
love-
Luke.
You
I
guys
love
are
Star Wars
insane.
as much as you. We'll go with Luke. That's fine.
I'm not taking
All right.
Luke. I'm taking Megatron. Megatron is stronger.
He's such
faster.
a contrarian.
Megatron has all these powers. He'll take Luke Skywalker and crush him in half. Luke Skywalker has one weapon. It's a lightsaber, and it's so
And the
obsolete.
Force.
No, he has the Force.
But the Force, he can barely use it. He's not like a real Jedi.
He
He's
can
not-
lift an X-wing. He can
He's
just
not-
take
Luke doesn't-
Yeah, but
Megatron.
he has to concentrate. He has to put his hand like this. He's not Darth Vader. He's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's Luke. He's a very low level Force. He's very low level.
Ross, I love your arguing. I love you're willing to take the underdog in that case, but
Megatron's not the underdog.
You lose again. I'm sorry.
No.
So now we're moving on
Megatron
to
is the underdog
6'11"
both in
seed.
seeding and reality.
You guys
We're
are-
moving on.
there's no way.
6'11". Let's go in the West. I think I was given this gig just so I had to say the 11 seed Darnarius Targaryen against the 6 seed
got it.
Dracula.
Close enough.
So,
I don't want the
who do
Mother
you
of
have?
Dragons to go out just for this. Listen,
I wanted to go out just so I don't
think
have to say her name anymore.
I'm going to go with what may end up being an unpopular call. I think Dracula is going to win this. The Mother of Dragons is she's great, but Dracula has been a badass for years, decades,
Centuries.
At least. No, just decades. It was in
Oh,
the
I'm
1970s.
sorry. He wasn't a badass
The Dracula. No, I'm kidding. It's centuries. It's centuries. Yeah, maybe even millennia. It was around the time that Neptune retired that Dracula started kicking some serious ass. Ross, I think you're going to agree with me on this one.
No, I'm not. Dracula has.
Oh, you never agree with anybody
The
about
only thing
anything.
Dracula does is like he gets up close to your neck and he sucks your blood. He has no weapons. He has no superpowers. He has nothing except he bites your neck. I think he has some.
No,
strength.
Dracula is super fast and super strong. Did you
He can
read
make
Dracula?
he can make himself into a bat.
He can
which
turn
you
into
can
a
crush.
bat. Yeah, and he can suck the blood
I'm
out of you. I mean,
taking
how's
dragon-
Daenerys Targaryen's going to be flying on a dragon and he'll be like,
Oh, so that's how you
and
say
it'll be
it.
over.
The dragon will
She gets the
destroy the
dragons,
bat.
right? Point of
The
clarification.
dragon destroys the bat in any logical situation. Just think about it. The dragon always wins. Come on. It doesn't take a scientist. to
All right,
figure
you know
it out.
what? Yeah.
All right,
you know what?
Andrew, what's your
You
pick?
actually, I'm going to do something that no one ever does here. I'm just going to, it was a better argument. Ross wins. I'm going with Daenerys.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yes!
I just think if you've got the dragon, it's all done, And it's like you can't say she doesn't get her dragons because they're always with her. It would be like saying
No,
Luke
I
doesn't
agree.
Get his lightsaber,
She's attached at the hip to her dragons.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, guys, we got to move on to the Midwest bracket, where the 6-11 matchup is one that's really interesting to me because I think there's a true Cinderella here. It is the 6 seed Kylo Ren against the 11 seed, who I think can go pretty far, Freddy Krueger. What are your
Are
thoughts?
you trying to steal my sleeper pick? He was my sleeper pick long ago.
Well, I find it
I believe
ironic
I
that
said that.
I think I find it ironic that you call him a sleeper, considering he only exists in your dreams.
I even
Yeah, but
made
he's
that
not the
joke.
one sleeping.
Get your own material, man.
I don't remember. I don't listen when you talk.
Well, that is a problem for this show. Now, listen, I do think Freddy Krueger is going to go very deep in this tournament. Kylo Ren is a formidable guy, but he's obsessed with his mask. I just think he's going to be very distracted. I think he has bad dreams. I just don't see how Freddy Krueger loses because in dreams, Freddy Krueger pretty much is going to win. And in waking life, he's not even there. So I'm taking Freddy Krueger all the way.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, like, I feel like Kylo Ren is sort of like the Loki of Star Wars. You know, he's just got like all these like mental issues. He's low self-esteem, and like you said, he gets traumatized by these visions he has. I mean, that's like the bread and butter for Freddy Krueger. You know what I mean? So like he's going right into his brain and manipulating it, and it's over.
Kylo Ren versus the best Freddy Krueger. It's unbelievable, baby. You better watch this match. It's going to be great.
Is he a diaper dandy, baby?
This is going to be pure magic. I can't wait, baby. You better call T.O., baby.
Now I'm picturing Freddy Krueger in a diaper. It's definitely freaking me out.
And I'm picturing Freddy Krueger against Dick Vitale.
I'm taking Freddy Krueger, knockout, 4th round. I see him just knocking this guy down from the Star Wars show, from the Star Wars, whatever. Not even a trilogy. It's like a huge
Who knows
book.
what it is?
A whole lot more than that. All right. Well,
Yeah.
it sounds like it's a sweep then for Freddy Krueger in that. So let's go to the East now, where the 6-11 matchup features another one of the Star Wars stars from the later movies, and that is Rey.
What do you call it? There's the prequel, and then there's the original, and then there's the
I don't
trilogy.
know.
After
There's
Quill.
all of them. So
I don't know.
it's,
It's
the
just
post-quel.
it's Rey.
there's the George
against-
Lucas, and there's like a whole, I don't know.
We have Rey against Jaws. So this one's interesting. Ross, who's your pick?
I'm taking Jaws. I'm a guy that grew up with Jaws. I'm a 70s guy. Well, not really, but I was a kid.
Ross grew up with a shark.
But a quick
sounds
story.
dangerous.
A quick story. I was a kid. My dad and my mom were getting divorced. My dad took my brother and I to a movie. It was Jaws. We were sitting there, and all of a sudden, the head pops up during Jaws, and my popcorn goes flying up in the air. My dad starts yelling at us at the movie theater, and it wasn't a great scene, but it gave me nightmares. I did not go to the beach for at least 5 years. I was so scared. I'm taking Jaws. He's going to bite this person's leg off easily. Jaws knockout.
I like how you called Rey this person. This is this person, but I'm gonna wait on this. I want to hear what Andrew has to say.
You know, I think I'm sort of biased here, being from Massachusetts, and you got the whole, you know, Martha's Vineyard thing and all of that. I love.
We need
Jaws.
a bigger boat.
I love Star Wars more than Jaws, but Star Wars is also really.
You're gonna need a bigger
overrepresented in this.
lightsaber.
Star Wars is really overrepresented in this bracket as much as I love it. So, you know, I think I'm gonna go with the big fish.
Yeah.
Oh man,
listen.
I'm going to buck the trend. I'm going to go with Rey. I just think the lightsaber's going to win. I don't think I'm going to win this battle. I think Dan is going with Jaws, but I got to put a plug in for Rey. She's pretty tough, and she does a really good job on Jaws and slices him to pieces.
I'm totally surprised that you thought I was going with Jaws. It's Rey all the way. I mean, Rey.
Oh, okay.
Rey is a total badass.
Exactly.
I mean, what is Jaws really going
Have
to...
you seen
Well,
Jaws?
I'll tell you what Jaws is good for. It's for that song that they sing when they're on the boat and they're getting drunk. Show me the way to go home. I use that song to get my daughter to sleep every night. It works like a charm.
I do too, and I carry the whole scene out. I carry the whole scene out until he goes because the Jaws is trying to eat him, and she doesn't like that. It's not good bedtime stuff.
The whole chopping
listen,
someone in half.
what is Jaws really going to do to Rey? Rey's not sitting around like singing.
No,
Show
and
me
she's
the way
not.
to go home.
She's not treading water. So Dan, we have to go to the tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker.
Then the tiebreaker. Look, Lauren talked about this matchup. It's a shame that she's not here for this, but she had to run, and she talks about this being a surf and turf matchup. In this case, the surf is definitely winning. She called Rey all the way. Sorry, guys. Jaws
that's
is
the
out.
surf?
Moby Dick advances.
That's the turf.
Jaws is out. All right, last one.
All right, so we're going to the South, and the last one is Alien versus 11. A very interesting matchup. Andrew?
I think this one's easy. I mean, if 11 could handle the Mind Flayer, then obviously 11 could handle Alien. Like, the Mind Flayer is like a giant, like, super powerful version of Alien, like 10 times, 20 times the size of Alien. So if 11 can handle that and all she gets is a little nosebleed, then she's going to have no problem. She won't even get the nosebleed going after Alien. It'll be so easy.
Oh, wow. A win even without the nosebleed. Meanwhile, Alien versus 11, it does sound like a little bit of a tongue twister, and 11 is an 11 seed. Ross, Do you know who 11 is?
I think the committee planned that.
I know who 11 is. I'm taking Alien this one. Alien to me has the brains, has the brawn. Alien can go in space and not be in.
Just because you have a giant goiter on your head doesn't mean that you have the brain.
Can be in space and not die, which is unbelievable. The gravity doesn't do anything to Alien. So I'm taking Alien. I just feel that his futuristic skills will just take 11 way down and boom, smash him to pieces. So I'm taking.
Wait, smash him to pieces? Are you
smash
sure
her
you know
to
who
pieces.
11 is? Okay.
Smash her to pieces. Sorry.
Well,
smash
she
her to
did have
pieces.
a really short haircut. So I'm
taking
really
Alien.
torn on this. I don't know, Kasey. I want to hear your argument because I could go either way on this one, honestly.
Look, 11. Has telepathic or telekinetic abilities. I forget which one it is. I wasn't a huge Stranger Things person, but I
Telekinetic. I think it's both. Yeah.
Is it both?
She can read aliens' mind, but all it says is.
It's television, guys. She's got television powers.
I'm going with 11 in this one. I don't think it's a slam dunk. I could be swayed either way, but I'm going with 11.
Good choice.
Man, I could throw this into the tiebreaker, and I even know who. So I have such power here. It's incredible. But I think that I think we shouldn't underestimate Alien.
Say Alien.
I think
Alien loses.
I really do. Look, I mean, Ridley had to be very. No, I did say Alien. Ross, what are you saying? I said. Alien.
Good. So you said Alien. So the tiebreaker.
I love 11. She's great, but 11 would end up running away as the smart child that she is, and I think that's how this wins. Alien is not going to do what like Wolverine did to Harry Potter, where he
drank his blood.
Drank his blood. We're not going to do that to this child. I love 11. 11 decided to she was like, I've had enough. I beat the Mind Flayer. Now, okay, so Alien would move on, but Lauren's the tiebreaker again, and she has Alien.
Yes.
I think. Oh. I don't know. We're going to have to check the tape. I actually don't remember.
Bye, 11. Bye-bye.
Listen, this is a cliffhanger. We're going to have to find out from Lauren who she had, but I'm pretty sure she had Alien.
Of course she had Alien.
So
she's a winner.
No. 11's filing a lawsuit and challenging the results.
That's right. We're not accepting this.
Okay,
There'll be no peaceful transition.
It's going to the Supreme Court where we have 3 Supreme Court justices, and we'll figure this out soon. But up next, Ross and I are going to interview James Jones of Packers fame. He once had 14 touchdowns in a season. He won a Super Bowl ring with Aaron Rodgers, and he played with both Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. So James Jones up next. Cannot wait.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Ross the Boss. I got a great interview today. We're talking to James Jones, 9-year veteran in NFL, Super Bowl winner. Mm-hmm. And he's also on the NFL Network almost every day. I love watching him speak and talk and give his mind. He knows everything about football. I'm excited to have him on. James Jones, welcome to the Hub.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me, man. How you guys doing?
We're doing better than
great.
Tennessee Titans are.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Better than so 3 players tested positive, 5 coaches or personnel did. I mean, I know they expanded the rosters, like the practice squads, for this reason.
Yeah.
I mean, when you played, was it really that important to practice all week, or do you think like not practicing like the whole week and just going into the game on Sunday without really I
thought you were asking him when he played how bad was COVID, and I was like, I don't think that was happening.
Yeah, we didn't have to deal with that when I was playing, but
yeah.
No, man. I mean, you need practice. As much as players hate practicing and practicing all week, you need practice. And I'm good with one or 2 days off during the week. But when you're talking about, man, they possibly can be off the whole week dealing with all this COVID stuff, and then you got to come out and play a game. And not just a game. You're dealing with one of the best teams in the National Football League in the Pittsburgh Steelers, who is going to have a chance to practice all week and put in certain plays and certain schemes that they like on both sides of the ball. And you got to talk about it over Zoom meetings. You know what I mean? That's a little disadvantage for the Tennessee Titans. And it's huge because you want to be able to go out there to practice. And not only that, that's how you start having those little minor injuries, the muscle pulls and things like that, when you're not able to go out there and practice and really run and do the things you're supposed to do. Because we all know you could work out for 260 straight days, and then you take off 2 days, and you're like, dang, you go back in the gym, you're like, how am I sore? And I only took 2 days off. But you need to continue to work out and move around, man, and them not being able to do that. I just hope that if they are going to play the game, that they all can stay healthy. So if I was them, I would be at a private gym. I would be working out on the side. I would still be running, training. So when the game comes, I know my plays, know what I'm doing. But at least during the week, I mean,
James, do you think they'll go to like a park or like a high school and they have a practice together? At least have like a secret practice? Is that
yeah? But they can't infect each other either. That's another thing you got to worry about.
To be honest with you, that's what I would do. If I would get some of the guys that did not test positive, you know what I mean, and let's go to the park. Even if we're just throwing routes on air and we're able to just throw the ball to each other and run and all that type of stuff and move around, I would advise them to do that than to just sit around all week and look at each other on Zoom meetings and then go out there and try to stop Ben Roethlisberger.
I mean, Ross the boss would do the same thing. How many times did Brett Favre break your fingers in practice?
Brett broke a couple, but Aaron broke more.
Aaron broke more.
How many years did you play with Brett?
I only played 1 year with Brett. That was my rookie year.
Well, that's why he only broke a couple. He would play more.
but my 7 years with Aaron, 8 years with Aaron, he tore up some.
Well, so let's talk about your Green Bay Packers. Their offense is clicking. I mean, no Davante Adams on Sunday. They still score 37 points. They're scoring like it's a video game, basically, you know. And we all play video games. I'm a great at Madden, just so you know, one of the best. But what I'm saying is this: I mean, they're scoring on will, and I think Rodgers, I feel, is just angry they didn't draft a wide receiver. I mean, I feel that he's like on a mission.
But it was obviously the best thing they could do. They didn't draft a wide receiver. Look how mad he is. He's playing great. But I wanted to ask James the difference between Favre and Rodgers. I'm sorry, Ross. I'm hijacking your question, but I needed to know that.
The difference between them. I mean, number one, they're both super competitors. People ask me all the time who throws it harder. And for me, it's crazy to say it's an easy answer, but it's Aaron Rodgers. And I tell people that all the time, and they're like, what? Are you crazy? And I'm like, no, I'm not crazy. I caught balls from both of them. Aaron Rodgers
you're the one who would know.
Definitely throws it harder. But what I will say, though, is when I first started catching from Brett, he had a lot of zing on the ball. Catching from Aaron, he had more zing. But I was with him in the later years of his career, so I had to ask Donald Driver. I'm like, man, who throws harder, Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre? And he was like, Aaron got him. So I said, okay, then I am.
Oh yeah, then you can trust it.
I am feeling the same thing that you're feeling. But I mean, they're both great competitors, man. And you could tell Aaron, he took a lot from Brett, man, because during practice, Brett always wanted to be perfect. You know what I mean? If it wasn't perfect, we run in the dang play over again. And that's the same way 12 is, man. If it's not perfect, we run in the dang play over again, man. They want to be on the same page with you, whether you're a rookie, whether you're a 10-year vet. That's just the competitive nature in him, and that's why you see the success that they really have, especially with the young fellas.
How far do you think they are going to come this year? How far are the Packers going to go?
To be honest with you, I feel like they're a much better team than they were last year, man. You could tell they're just both sides of the ball is more comfortable, man, in year two in these systems, man. And Aaron Rodgers is just on fire right now in year two in this Matt LaFleur system. You could tell by all the different formations they're doing, the guys he's finding. I mean, he just looks more comfortable. He's checking in and out of plays, man, getting them into the right plays. You could tell he really has a grasp on this offense. And Matt LaFleur really understands what Aaron Rodgers likes. And you could tell that by when they take the field, man. It's just night and day from last year. Even though they were 13-3 last year, I feel like this is a better ball club. You get Kenny Clark back to put him in on that defense. I think he'll help them with the run defense. And once you do that, man, the back end could cover anybody. I think this team is built, man, to win the Super Bowl this year. You know, if God willing, they keep everybody.
Hold on, I'm writing this down. Super Bowl winner prediction: James Jones.
I mean, I think he's on to something though. I mean, the NFC is kind of wide open. There's a lot of good teams, but it's not quite like the AFC where you got to go through Kansas City.
Now you watched Patrick Mahomes last night, right? I see. I call him Patrick, not Pat.
Yeah.
Patrick. Yes, Patrick Mahomes. You watched him last night.
I call him Patty Mahomes.
Have you ever seen a quarterback with his skill set and in your time of playing football?
Yeah, I played with one for 8 years. And
Aaron Rodgers. So but he didn't have the running skills like Patrick does.
Man, what are you watching?
I was going to
You're
say,
comparing
he runs all the
Rodgers to
time.
Patrick Mahomes. You're comparing Rodgers.
Man, to be honest with you, you should be comparing Patrick Mahomes to Rodgers because
Okay.
the reason why when Patrick Mahomes first hit the scene, what did everybody say? Oh my goodness, this dude looks like Aaron Rodgers. Look at the throws he's making, right? Because it's
The no look throws. Remember the no look throws?
yeah, it's the same throws that Aaron Rodgers was making, man.
Right.
And Patrick Mahomes is special, obviously, but Aaron Rodgers, man, could do anything and everything that Patrick Mahomes could do. And yes, I mean, we seen Aaron Rodgers on Monday night get out of the pocket and make plays with his legs, you know. So and that's the old Aaron Rodgers. He probably still think he's 4'5", you know what I mean? But he probably 5 flat. I tell him he's 5 flat. But no, man, I mean, he definitely can make plays with his legs as well. So I've seen it done, man. Both these quarterbacks, man, if you're on their team, if you're Tyreek Hill, if you're Devontae Adams, man, you're extremely blessed to have any of these quarterbacks that's
Okay.
football.
You're right. But Ross, I got to ask him this because I've got somebody who knows Aaron Rodgers. Some people have told me that I look like Aaron Rodgers, but only when he's wearing his helmet. So I guess I'll just do that.
There you go.
Do I look at all like Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, it might be the beard a little bit. You do look like 12.
Yeah, maybe.
Covering up.
There we go. All right.
So James, do you ever play fantasy football? We talk about it here all the time. We're fantasy football experts here, but I mean,
I play fantasy football. I'm in a fantasy football league with the network. I can brag. I actually just beat up on our expert Adam Rank this past weekend. I beat up on him. So the reason why I'm saying that because he's a Bears fan. So I beat up on.
Okay, tell me
who's on your team?
Yeah, who's on your team?
On my team, my quarterback is Kyler Murray. My running backs are Josh Jacobs and Alvin Kamara. My receivers are Juju Smith, DeAndre Hopkins, and Amari Cooper. And my tight end is Darren Waller. My kicker is Buckner from Kansas City. And in my defense, I usually try to pick the best matchup. This week, I picked the Colts and put the Colts in my defense. So
how many points you must have had, like 1 million points.
I made the right defensive choice right there. But usually my defense is the Ravens.
That's a monster team.
I don't play them against the Chiefs.
Well, so right now, let's say the draft was tonight and you're drafting with us and you had the first pick. Who would be your pick? Go.
The first pick, if everybody's healthy, beginning of the season?
Right now, our draft was tonight.
Yeah, right now, Christian McCaffrey's injured. Who's the number one pick?
Alvin Kamara.
Not Russell Wilson.
No, I'm taking Alvin Kamara just because I know that he's going to get a bunch of catches out the backfield and they're going to hand it off to him and he's going to get red zone touches. I got to take Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, see, James knows what's smart. Alvin Kamara gives you such a difference at running back. It's totally different than at quarterback. I mean, Russell Wilson's great, but there's a lot of good quarterbacks.
I mean, even when you think this past weekend, I mean, Alvin Kamara points-wise outplayed as good as Russ played, 5 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara got more points. He had 12 catches, you know what I mean? And he was running the ball. So my first pick will be Alvin Kamara. He's dangerous. And strictly with Michael Thomas out, their game plan is going to be.
They're doing these little screens to Alvin, and Alvin's running 80 yards for touchdowns.
Absolutely.
I mean, these are passes the Ross the Boss can make to Alvin if I wanted to.
Let me ask you a question, James. Did you play fantasy football when you were a player?
No, I did not play, but it was funny because a bunch of our linemen played, and they would always come up to me before the game like, I put you in. I need you to ball.
Listen, if it was 2012, you won a lot of leagues that year. I think you had 14 touchdowns that year.
Absolutely. But even for me now, I play, but I still have mixed feelings when I play because when I first started playing, and the first year I played was 2 years after I retired, and I caught myself rooting against guys that I played with, and I'm like, I don't like this. You know what I'm saying? I don't like playing fantasy because I don't like rooting against guys I played with. You know what I'm saying? Because my first couple of years, I'll be like, don't throw it to Devontae. And then I'm like, what are you doing?
What am I doing? Right.
Devontae is your guy. You want him to ball out. Man, what do you mean don't throw? Who cares about a fantasy win? You want Devontae to ball out. So now I've kind of calmed down a little bit, and I'm like, man, I want my guys to ball, and I just hope the dudes on my team just score more points in them. But I definitely want them to ball.
So really quick now, we had Rick Cunningham on the show last week. He was an offensive lineman for the Cardinals, Vikings. He was also played for the Raiders. He played for the Colts. I played football with him in high school. So Rick told me the coldest place he ever played was Lambeau. He said he couldn't wait to get back on the sidelines because it was that cold. And he had the assignment to make sure Reggie White did not tackle his quarterback. So he had like one of the hardest jobs in football when he played.
Yeah.
He told me Lambeau was, I mean, tell us how cold it was for you and how did you deal with it?
Man, it's absolutely brutal, man. And it's crazy because the first time when I got drafted and I went there and I was talking to Greg Jennings and Donald Driver, and they were like, hey, young fella, when it get cold, this is what you gonna want to do. This is the type of stuff you want to wear and all that. But I'm looking at them and I'm like, dude, you guys are not tougher than me. I'm not worried about the cold. If you guys could play in the cold, I could play in the dang cold. You know what I mean? And then we walked out there and I think it was negative 13 degrees, right? And in Green Bay, this was my first cold game. And in Green Bay, when you're introducing the starting lineups, they got a big old green door that goes up when they announce your name. So I don't go out for pregame warmups. That just wasn't my MO. I like to warm up in the locker room and do all that. I don't go out for pregame. So the first time me feeling the air is when they announced my name. And I didn't have no sleeves on. I thought I was tough, dude. I'm like, man, y'all could play in it. I could play in it. And they said, James Jones, San Jose State University. And that green door came up. And that cold air and that wind hit me. And as I was jogging out, slapping everybody's hands, in my mind, I said, I quit. I don't ever want to play.
This is the last time I'm playing.
You told Holmgren you're not playing.
I didn't want to tell Greg Jennings and Donald that they were right, but in my head, I'm like, please just make it to halftime so we can put on 32 Under Armour sleeves and come back out here and play the game. But it was brutal. But never again did I go out there with no sleeves. And as you know, that's when I started wearing the hoodie, putting the hoodie on, and I'm going out there. I'm going to be as warm as possible.
Well, James, thanks for coming on. Truly a treat. I'd love to have you come on again.
Please do. It was great having you.
I'm rooting for your Green Bay Packers to win the NFC, and I think they have a great shot. And, I'll keep watching you on the NFL Network. Again, thanks for coming on. And I'm Ross the Boss, and I love talking football with you.
Not a problem, man. Appreciate it. Anytime. You guys just let me know, man. It was fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome, James. Yeah. Thank you.
You got it.
Wow, that was a great interview with James Jones. I had no idea that he thinks Aaron Rodgers has a better run than Brett Favre. That's unbelievable. That's great information you learned right here on the Hub. But coming up next week, Dan, you can tell the audience, what can we expect next week? What is it? Tell us.
All right. Well, we got week 5. We got all the picks. We get to find out who performed well. It will be Mark Ingram. You'll see. We also have Monster Madness with the 4-13 seeds and the 5-12 seeds. The first round is finishing up, so things are really heating up, and you never know who's going to stop by the Hub.
And subscribe. Say it with me. Dan?
What?
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Good.
Click the bell for notifications. Tell all your friends, and we will see you next time on MFSN's The Hub.
Lying with a blanket over my head, she asked if she could see who was under the blanket with me. I said, you don't want to find. It is Hideki Matsui and